We've got a few devices enrolled in our solution. Now, when we look here, we're pulling device data. This is all through API calls and whatnot. It's giving you battery information, internal storage, Wi-Fi signal strength, Wi-Fi SSIDs. So it gives you a lot of data, right? The nice thing about this is that it allows you to report on usage. It allows you to report on how they're being used out in the field, okay? Now, again, when we show you this one here, the Yoga tab, we've got the ability to remote control the device. Like it was sitting in front of me. So
Just click anywhere on the screen.
So as you can see, I'm flipping through. Sorry, this is over my Wi-Fi right over here. We're flipping through it as if we're holding it in our hands, right? What advantage does this give? If you've got, for example, if you're a transport logistic company and you've got tablets in the field with your drivers to collect signatures for packages, right? Something goes wrong with your application, something goes wrong with the device, you're able to remote control into it and troubleshoot, right? If, for example, you wanted to, let's say, you wanted to give a device,
Kiosk mode.
so let's take this device here, the Yoga tab. Is it actually on there? On that side? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to take this, we're going to put it into our kiosk mode.
Yes.
Now through the magic of television, and hopefully this actually works, since nothing else has worked for me so far. It should have changed, or will change. There we go, perfect. So what we call a lockdown, right? Now what does this change? So this is now a device that's purpose-built, right? Instead of giving a device to someone who can play Angry Birds on, who could, download videos, who could watch Netflix, now you can't do that. Now this is locked down to only the devices and applications that you want the users to have, right? So you need them to have a telephone.
That one will have telephones, so just click
No,
on
it's okay. So there's no network device, that's fine, so it's gonna go back. You want them to only have access to specific websites, right? It preloads the information for you, right? And there's no way for me to get out, so I'm hitting the home button, I'm hitting, the application button, no way to get out of it, right? So this becomes now a purpose-built device, right? There's a transport logistic company in Montreal who was giving out 6-inch handhelds, right? Devices, so notes or something like that, to their drivers to collect signatures, right? They had a little square app so that if they needed to pay, they could swipe a card or whatnot. But their problem was that some drivers would use less than a gig worth of data, and other users would have 50, 60 gigs worth of data, right? So what the problem was that they were giving them to them and they were completely open. So drivers were going home, turning on the mobile Wi-Fi and powering their house over LTE, right, on the company's dime. Now, good for them for figuring it out. to, we're also able to manage based on geofences, right? So manage based on geography. So if we're able to,
I actually created a geofence right around the building.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Regular. Just go to, manage geofences, and manage, look for Sheraton.
view. Okay, perfect. So this is a geofence that we created right around the hotel. Okay, as you can tell, it's not straight lines, so it doesn't have to necessarily be, perfect square, and it's also not a circle, right, like our competitors. The problem with a circle is that it's all encompassing. So you have the circumference, and that's it. If a piece of the road is outside of it, you have to create a larger geofence or larger circle, which could encompass other parts that you don't want, right? This allows you to get very granular, and we've done geofences where there's 8, 9, 10 points to be able to fence around an airport or fence around a specific campus, right? Why is this important? You can set permissions to say, if I exit this geofence, create these actions. One of our programs in the US with Verizon is that every student that comes to a school gets a tablet at the beginning of their high school career. When they're at school and they're in the school geofence, they're only able to use 5 or 6 different applications, right? Web browser with some restrictions, some textbooks and possibly some other math apps or something like that. When they leave the geofence though, it opens the tablet up to be able to have gaming on it, to be able to have less restrictions on it, so they're able to use it. In a lot of cases, the tablet is the only source of internet for some of these kids, right? They're from not necessarily the best environments, and some of them are lower income. So this is a program that's allowing them to have internet at home on a device, and have the ability to say, in one area, have it be very secure and very regimented, and on the other side, let it be open, right? And we solve that problem with geofences. So we're working with an airline company right now, where we're looking to disable specific features on a tablet based on where they are in relation to the airport, right? So flight manuals or engine manual, repair manuals, and so on and so forth are not being stored on tablets because, when you're looking at a manual that's 5,000 pages, it's difficult to keep up to date, difficult to, transport and so on, so they're putting them onto tablets. And they don't want the access outside of the airport because there's some, sensitive data there. And then on top of that, they don't want to allow for specific apps to be run inside the boundaries of the airport, right? So they want Netflix to be able to be streamed inside the geofence. So we're able to then, based on geography, tell what is and what isn't allowed, right? Which is another very cool feature of ours. The last thing we wanted to talk about is really installed apps and then our packages here, one and the same. We're able to push applications out to devices. So be it iOS, Android, Windows, we're able to push out to the device, be it silently or be it managed with some user interaction. But we're able to push those applications out. So if you have a corporately built Android app, for example, we're able to package that application, push it out to your handhelds or your tablets, and have it install because our solution manages that tablet, right? We're then able to list what applications are installed. I guess we should keep going here, right? And what isn't. So you're able to see in a view, oh, this tablet has Angry Birds. How did that happen, right? Or oh, this has a specific version of our enterprise application that's too old. How do we upgrade it, right? So it gives you a lot more control over your devices. Again, I'm going to go jump back really quickly into our PowerPoint just to show off a few things. So,
how many devices?
how many devices can we control?
Yeah.
So we start at 10, and we've scaled. I guess our biggest is like 80 thousand right now?
They're up to like 92,000.
92,000. So American Airlines is one of our largest, and I don't even know if they're the biggest right now.
No, American Airlines isn't. Our largest is like the DPAC, the Postal Service.
That's right.
The Postal Service, yeah, they just reached like 92,000 devices, but as of our latest release, our dev team has actually done a full-fledged like evaluation test with simulators, and they got up to 1 million devices before they started noticing actual performance degradation within the server. Obviously that's done with simulators, but you can kind of see the scaling of the system itself. Like for example, if one server can't handle that many devices, we can always scale a lot of different servers to take on the load, or you can put them behind load balancers. The system itself is very lightweight. If you do need to manage anything over like the said 94, 95,000 devices, there's no means to the end of that. You just set up additional servers and they'll take on the load of those additional devices. It'll all still be managed through the system. It's just a back-end architecture that you have to set up upon actually deploying the solution out to the service.
If you want to deploy the software solution, can you tap also into Active Directory?
Yeah.
Simply to populate all your user and profile
Yeah.
based on already what you have in terms of
Yeah, the system's fully integrated with LDAP. So for example, since we've been talking about laptops a lot, for example, we have a lot of customers that say, hey, I'm gonna buy 100, 200, 1,000 laptops, Lenovo laptops. I wanna get them out in the field. I wanna give them remote support. I wanna be able to install, update apps. What we actually do automatically is by combining both Active Directory and group policy, we can actually push out our agent as an MSI file as part of the group policy. So when a new employee gets onboarded, they get their laptop, they get their policies, they get the Mobi Control agent. Their device will automatically populate in the system, and through the enrollment process, it'll actually prompt them for their Active Directory credentials, and then that device will automatically be assigned to them in the system. So additional things like any of their LDAP values, any specific even, if you have any custom criteria with an Active Directory that you're using, you can automatically see that within the system here. Additionally, you can also do access control for the administrators based on Active Directory. If you have L1 support users, if you have L2 support users, all that can be segregated. Maybe as an L1 user, I can remote into the computer, but I can't actually control the computer. I can only see what the user is doing. As an L2 rep, once I get into the computer, I have full access to everything, the registry, the files, I have full control over it. I can remove or install applications as I wish, all through AD. So it's integrated both ways. We can add users and you can segregate security within the console. So it works both at the user level and the administrator level.
The nice thing too is that for multiple devices, people don't just have one device anymore, right? You don't have a laptop. You have a laptop, a tablet, a phone, a this, a that, so on and so forth, right? You might have 2 or 3 tablets depending on what your job title is. Like if you're Mikhail, you have 7 because that's what he does, right? With Active Directory, with the LF integration, right, you're able to now assign those devices to specific people, right? So you're able to track who has what, right? And on top of that, with leveraging your LDAP hierarchy, if you have different profiles for different jobs, you can push that out as well, right? So if using an airline, for example, right, if you're a mechanic and you're in LDAP as a mechanic, you would get access to, you know, engine manuals. But if you're a pilot, you would get access to flight manuals. And if you're a flight attendant, you would get access to, you know, HR documents and work policies and, you know, emergency procedures. Right?
To touch on that, it's all dynamic in the system. Let's say if today I go from being an L1 tech to an L2 tech, the system will detect the changes in Active Directory and automatically assign you a new profile based on like a daily update schedule, every 2-hour update schedule, however often you want to query LDAP to see those changes. Apart from just actually being able to change profiles on there, if you just pull the console up for a second, we also give you the ability to configure things such as Wi-Fi, VPN, email on Android devices. So let's say I'm bringing in my own Android phone into the workplace. Once I enroll into the company system for a BYOD device, for example, I provide my AD credentials, automatically it'll push out my email without me doing anything on the device. It'll set up my Wi-Fi networks if you're using some like 802.1x for Wi-Fi, you know, authentication. It'll push my name down. We can even tap into Active Directory certificate services, give you a certificate based on your user tied to the device, and use that to authenticate it to VPN, Wi-Fi, essentially whatever you need. Once the user's gone, or once the administrator says maybe they jailbroke their device, we pull all those policies back. We notify the administrator that automatically this person jailbroken their device. We pull back the corporate content, all the Wi-Fi and everything. And apart from it being simple to use, you can just imagine I come into a workplace, every single day people come and go from large companies. Just giving somebody a WPA2 key, you can't change that key every single day as people come and go. With our solution, you get the Wi-Fi profile, you never know the key, so when you leave the company, the profile just gets pulled back and you never have to worry that you've even ever exposed that key. With certificates, it's obviously different because you can't really steal that, but a lot of people still don't use certificates, so in the case of a simple WPA2, at a very high level, it's just so simple to deploy it and pull it back on based on the administrator's requirements or anything like that.
So, just to get back to this really quickly, I wanted to, with respect to your guys' time, I know that we're stretching a little bit long here. So, we haven't done this by accident. We've been doing this a long time. You might not have heard of us, but it's because we put 100% of our money back into our development. So, we have taken zero venture capital money. We've taken zero angel money. We have no outside influence over our company. It is run by our CEO and funded by our CEO. All of our development is done in-house and on Canadian soil. We do have offices in India that we're using for development, but our core product is developed and coded in Canada. Bits and pieces are farmed out to India now, just purely based on economies of scale. It's not by accident that you have this list of retailers and customers as well. We have most of the major airliners. We have USPS, which is the largest postal service in the world. We have DHL, a variety of other large manufacturers and retailers. I wanted to touch on this as well, the partnerships that I talked about. So this is just a small list of the partners that we encompass, right? So you see, Samsung, Lenovo, Panasonic, TELUS, Verizon, Motorola, Microsoft, Aruba, all sorts of things. And then lastly, I won't go through all this stuff here because it's irrelevant right now. And again, I wanted to touch on this really quick as well. This is our OEM partners. It says 50. We've just updated this to say 70 plus OEM relationships. Everything from Amazon Kindles straight through to I don't know if you guys have heard of the Black Phone. There's a company out there, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but they're doing a James Bond kind of phone where everything is encrypted, everything is super high security, and so on. We did make that happen. Yeah, exactly.
We actually certified it as well.
So we can manage those devices as well. So if you're looking at a mobile device management solution, be it big or small, we do provide 30-day trials. We do scale, like I said, from 10 right through to 10,000, a million. So we're more than happy to take the time to sit down with you, go over your infrastructure, go over your mobile policies even, and help you guys define what the next 5, 10, 15 years worth of mobility looks like. If there's questions, again, we're going to stick around for a little bit and take questions. I do thank you for your time and letting us go a little bit over. Again, if there are any questions, please feel free